Hello and welcome to episode 353 of the Awesome Comics Podcast, the place where a small press makes one hell of a big noise. If I sound surprised, it's probably because I can't believe that we've made it this far. But I am Vince Hunt, and joining me as always is the creator of the webcomic Vanguard, Dan Butcher.
Hello.
And say his name 5 times in a mirror, and people will probably ask you if you're doing all right. But he is still Tony Esmond.
I did get a message from Al Henderson saying, "Am I all right?" after we put out our last Baboonsville. I think he thought we'd gone mental.
Ah, yes.
Oh,
And you said I looked like Elton John a minute ago. With my new glasses on.
Well, you look very stylish.
in the end of the last Baboonsville radio, you and you got machine gun to get to death, didn't you?
Yeah. By
we might, before we get into the rest of the show, we might have to give context to this. What is Baboonsville?
Yeah. Baboonsville was the Patreon only podcast that we used to do, where it was claimed to be based in Baboonsville, which is the town in Atomic Hercules, in a sort of post-nuclear Hertfordshire. And we play a bit of music, and then we do like a little radio skit thing. And at the end of the last episode, Cliff Cumber burst into the studio and machine gunned us, because our Patreon has now ended.
Yeah.
I think he was threatening to sodomize Falpy as well, which is quite a turn of events.
That was not in the script I sent him, but it was a nice little ad lib.
Yeah.
But welcome to the show, folks.
Stays true to the character.
Welcome to the show. We are, as you can tell, we are back to the regular scheduled programming. After a successful 4 weeks of enjoying some manga for our manga month. Thank you to everyone for the kind words and for checking out the show. If you haven't checked out yet, our last 4 episodes are all about manga and how awesome it is.
Loved it, didn't we?
We'll continue to read lots of it, so don't be surprised to see more in the future. But we did mention last week that we don't have a guest this week. It's just the 3 of us in a padded room, preparing to take the seatbelts off and start.
We tried to do this with the cameras on, and we lasted literally 30 seconds.
Yeah, bit of context. The show.
Yeah, I can't last 20 seconds.
But this week we're just going to be doing some old-fashioned comics talk. But there's a few topics that have. Maybe we're returning to some topics. We're going to be talking about some pricing, some digital books. There's a few different things, some crowdfunding, and we're going to not put the world to rights because, as always, the disclaimer is we know nothing. We're just going to talk about this, probably rant and rave, and hopefully entertain you at the same time.
I think we've been generally quite positive in the past 4 weeks and not negative. And
when we were talking about manga and we weren't, so we're coming back to like Western comics and stuff, and then we're like, oh god, yeah.
But we did at the start before we started the manga month. We said in 4 weeks we're going to return to looking at Comixology and the state it was in.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we're not experts, but we're experts in our own buying of comics, which is what we're going to talk about, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
every man's experience almost. Yeah.
Exactly. So you'll find out how we're going to do that in a bit. But
it's going to be an experiment. We're experimenting on Vince.
It's not the first time. Do you know what has been a successful experiment?
Comic House.
The sponsorship ad, because we're still
very
doing
successful.
It. Yes. Comic House are our lovely sponsor. Thank you to Pete and the Comic House team for sticking with us and keep doing what they're doing, because they are an indie comic marketplace that loves indie comics as much as we do. If you go to comichouse.com, you can see there's a huge selection of titles on their database. If you self-publish, you can add your book on there as well and just start selling your work in another way. And you can also add it to their amazing digital app. We're going to be talking a little bit about digital comics this week. So now is the perfect time to go forth, check out Comic House and its app, because it's like a subscription service. Everything's a subscription service these days. Literally everything is a subscription service. So much so I need to go. Apart from us, we're completely free. Because we're absolutely worthless. Yeah. But and I literally need to go make a list of all the things that I've got a subscription to. I've completely forgotten about, and it's still taking money out of my account. So
I don't know why someone didn't come up with that fucking earlier. You know, there's buildings around the world just full of people trying to fuck you out of your money.
Yeah.
Why it took so long? So long. Instead of buying something, they just kind of rent it from us forever.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Rent this.
But
lots of those people be living rent free in my fucking head.
Yeah, my pants.
Oh my god.
Rent free in my video recorder.
When you're not being disgusted by that, you should definitely check out the Comic House app.
Yes.
Good.
It's only £3 a month, a lot cheaper than many digital comics. Something we may rant about.
And more well run.
Yes.
I would argue.
Yes.
You can find things easily.
Yeah. You can get access to an enormous library of digital indie comics. It was just being added to all the time, and we mentioned new titles being added all the time. And Dan, what's on there at the moment?
We've got The Last Homicide, Issue 1, The Adventures of Adam West, Volume 2, Issue 9, Logan's Run, Aftermath, Issue 4, The Bad Place, The Macabre Motel, Issue 1, and The Voice of the Hall, among many others.
Oh, The Voice of the Hall. What's that about?
Yeah. I'll tell you what The Voice of the Hall is about. It's
Story
synopsis. If wolves could talk, what tales would they tell? The Voice of the Hall is the history of Hornsey Town Hall, the first major UK building built in the modernist style, spanning its 80-year life with developers currently closing in. The story is told with an awareness of an approaching end. What is gained and what is lost with the advance of progress, and how much influence do the public have in shaping or preserving their own communities and public spaces.
Is that by Sean Azzopardo?
That's the one, T.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He used to live down there, didn't he? I know he's moved up. He lives up with Gareth Slighton. They live near each other now, don't they? But yeah, he used to do that. I remember he used to run the Crouch End Comics convention.
Ah, there you go. So that's from Soaring Penguin Press, and I think
they put it out, did they?
Yeah.
You might be able to purchase it through Comic House, which
yes, and you'll be able to, and it's on the app as well.
It is on the app.
Yeah, it's on the app.
It is.
Yes, so you can just sign up, and there's a 14-day free trial. Dive headfirst into this world of small press that we talk about every week, and we're getting get in touch with our roots.
I'll tell you what we have got, mate. Talking about getting back into our roots, we've got a whole host of shout outs.
Oh, well, the first shout out is check out comichouse.com.
Yeah, I don't know Comic House, but yeah, we've got loads.
Yeah. So thank you to them for sponsoring the show. Thank you to you lot for listening. And if you're a first time listener, here's a disclaimer. We're not always like this. we're not always this grumpy. But
to be fair, we are. We just kind of hide it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm trying to keep up the public persona.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. No, I think we're quite a joyful bunch.
Yeah. No. I mean, at the end of the day, we all love comics. All of us.
Good.
You lovely people listening, and us, and sometimes you just don't understand what's going on, or you just change is always strange, and certainly when it comes to the digital comic realm, it's certainly been changing over the past few months. And from one digital comic service to another, we might as well shall we kick off with this one?
Yeah, with the turn on the machine at the back because we're going to experiment on Vince. Strap him to the table.
We are returning to the topic of Comixology. Now,
and your pants.
Anyone who buys their comics on there knows that everything has been going through great change ever since sort of Amazon finally sort of swallowed it up, didn't we? We were sort of monitoring a little bit, weren't we, as it went on, and then it finally
change is an interesting term.
Yeah.
And certainly there was the teething problems and all kinds of things. I believe I said on a show, oh God, it must be about a month and a half, 2 months ago, that I'm not going to buy comics on there anymore. Yeah. Well, this episode's going to make me a liar because our experiment.
But not since. You haven't bought anything since, have you?
I haven't bought anything since. I haven't bought anything on there. Yeah. I have not been to the website and seen what it's like there. So we're doing an experiment that I'm going to do it on the web browser, just to let you know, guys, because I don't know what's happened to my app now. I haven't opened it up and stuff. So I am literally going to go to the web browser.
Well, that's how I did it because I've got an iPad, so I have to do it through the website.
Yeah. And we set ourselves basically this little task. All three of us were going to buy an indie comic or a small press title from Comic House. That was it, wasn't it? Rather than just
from Comixology.
Comics, not Comic House. Yeah, we should get them from Comic House. Everyone, that's right.
Yeah, that's the place to get them.
You
can't get them there.
I'm going to close down that bit of script because I keep looking at it. Comic House.
So you threw down a gauntlet. Tony and I during the week had to go onto Amazon Comixology, find a small press title, buy it, and then go through the whole process. And Vince,
mine's indie, not small press, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Okay, mine's indie as well.
It was one of those things that, like, it's not going to be a Marvel or DC book.
Essentially,
yeah.
Not one of the big boys.
Yeah, because those are the sort of things that probably push down straight into your face as soon as you log on, probably.
As you will soon see, Vince.
Yes. So I am literally. But before I do this experiment, Comixology itself has been going through some bits. They released a not a statement. What was it? An update? Was it on?
Yeah, they put out a
Twitter?
tweet, didn't they, saying they're working on it. They're working and improving it. Yeah.
That they have listened to the feedback from people. Obviously, you can't.
They always say that
you can't take social media as a complete. The complete view of what it is, because there's also the people that don't use social media that have probably got in touch.
They've been told to take that word out of their mouths.
But if you looked online, there was the raft of like, oh my god, this is terrible. You know what the fuck has happened?
People were like really throwing themselves off high buildings.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Putting toasters in the bath.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
It's like page 2 of the Penguin corporate "I've fucked up" speeches. Oh, we've listened to your concerns, or we hear you. You know, when you fucked up, like, oh, we've done the Big Mac instead of putting a meat patty in it, we've done a big shit. And so, we listen to your concerns, and we're gonna going forward, we're gonna reevaluate the situation or something. And it's just whatever.
Yeah,
you had it a million times.
Yeah. You know, so it's certainly been interesting, but as anyone who's listened to this show for a long time will know that there's been many times when I have said, oh, and I picked up this book from Comixology, because sometimes that was the only way I could get my comics in the week. Like the new releases, that's certainly where I've discovered books.
There's definitely both of us. We found books through Comixology, like
all of us,
the new comic book day, and just like, I'll take a punt on this.
And now we have double dipped, and the books are proudly sitting on my shelf now.
Yeah.
So we're just going to return to it ourselves. And so the experiment is this: you're going to hear it live
on show.
My journey of.
We're going to keep the chat going while you do it, but you're going to talk us through what you're doing. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then after that, we will go through what the guys
discuss the buying process.
What Dan and Tony their experience. And what they purchased. Obviously, I won't be able to talk about the book I'm going to buy, but I'm not just going to buy any old thing. I am going to browse for something that looks cool, and hopefully get it. So we'll see. So, right. Actually, this is weird. It's almost like I feel like we're doing this show live to people who are listening now, but this is just recording. I can just cut all of this out. But I am literally going to type in comixology.co.uk.
Okay.
Because that was like.
Oh, I didn't try that way.
Same.
I basically went to something I'd previously bought.
Yeah.
And so I'd previously bought Punisher issue 1.
Okay.
A few weeks ago from the new version of the site, and then I basically went through that.
Interesting. We went different ways because I went to Amazon straight away and started searching in Amazon. Right, let's find the comics, and that was just fruitless.
Yeah. To be fair, I started doing that and thought, I'm not going to find it, so that's why I went to the old purchase. Yeah.
Now, obviously, going to that comixology.co.uk is what I was used to. I would go on there to read my books as well, log in and read them, etc.
Oh, you used to read it on your desktop, didn't you?
Yeah, as well as like the phone and stuff, but I would use a desktop browser sometimes. Immediately it sort of says comixology.co.uk Kindle Comics. So let's see what the home.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the new Comixology. We're excited to show you our new home. And you got all previously purchased books are still available in your account. You may read them in the Comixology app, Kindle app, or on desktop with Kindle Cloud Reader. Interesting. Okay, let's browse the store.
It's still marked as a Comixology app on my iPad.
Yeah.
The only difference is it's organised differently on my iPad. Yeah.
I'll tell you how I got here, because I didn't go to Comixology. I went to Amazon. Started typing in the top bit, trying to find any kind of comic, and it was an absolute nightmare. And I thought, how can I get the comics? And on the left-hand side, you've got the All tab, which you click, and down there you've got Kindle, e-readers, and books. Yeah. And I went in there, and then there's another subsection which is like comics, or something, and that's the way I had to fucking go through it. Because I tried in vain searching for stuff, and it would throw up. You look for Spider-Man, you get Spider-Man t-shirts, Spider-Man pens, or just everything, but it's completely unrelated.
Yeah. And
so it hit me a little while.
Possibly,
I was looking to browse the new releases. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. And that's kind of like what I'm looking to see some new stuff and see what's about.
Yeah.
And maybe if you've got time, listeners, play along with us. Do this journey with us at the same time. So immediately it's an Amazon page naturally. We've got Comixology at the top, and you've got the little subtitles. I don't know how many times you look at new releases, comic sales and deals, but it's all in like the smaller script. We've got included with Prime Reading, which seems to be what they're pushing. Obviously,
so like the free that we talked about this before, these are the sort of, you basically, it's like a lending library. You can have only so many.
So if you've got Prime, you can have a certain amount, but that's the first one. It says see more 588. And then next one, I'm just scrolling down. So then we've got a Comixology Originals. Then this week's featured releases. Then underneath that, comics, manga, and graphic novel deals.
Yeah.
Books for me, or for you, you know what I mean. And inspired by your browsing history. And then more comics and graphic novels to explore. Bloody hell, there's quite loads. There's bestsellers for you, bestsellers, highly rated. Yeah, that's what we got.
But it doesn't have the thing you'll notice, Vince. It doesn't have a daily release thing. No. So you could look on the Tuesday, which was when DC released the new titles. Wednesday when the rest released the new titles.
I would on the old Comixology go to new releases, which I'm going to click on in a minute.
Yeah, let's click on that.
I would click on that. And it would basically show you the day, wouldn't it? And then you would see the new release for those days. So okay, let's go to new releases.
What bugs me is when you click on new releases, you get a line at the top which says this week's featured releases, which is the titles they're pushing, not the new releases.
Yes,
you got to scroll down to get the explore more new releases. So I just want all of them on one page. So I can look at them all.
I want them daily, so I can go back and almost look at like a week last Wednesday, see what I missed. If I've been on holiday or something.
We got the featured releases, which, whatever. Explore more new releases. So they should totally. I think it's quite important for comics, like to say, what day that's coming out on.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to the Wednesday, but.
That appears to be like the whole last week, is it?
It says all new releases. If you scroll down after
28th of March to April 3rd.
Yeah, 28th of March to April 3rd. And you can do it by publisher as well, for anyone like that.
It seemed to be less on there as well, guys. Than what you normally see. I suppose a lot of people haven't sorted their accounts out yet and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a lot more indie stuff on there, and I can't see any of that now. I presume that's just an effect of people not wanting to engage with the service because
this is
there was a lot of historic Marvel that they were dropping on Comixology. I think was it New Warriors or something like that, which was stuff that hadn't previously been digitized on Comixology.
Right, okay.
So like a whole page was New Warriors and a couple of other things. Like 90s Marvel books.
There should definitely be an indie section. I
agree.
Because there used to be an indie section before.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a Marvel and DC section because they've got their own apps and stuff. But I think, that's a huge part of the digital. I'm going to go to explore more new releases. Although it says see more 228. Let's see what we've got here because I wasn't going to scroll through all of those. And now I'm just faced with a large page of front covers. Okay. This already is it in alphabetical order?
No,
there's a Zorro one somewhere. So I don't know what the rhyme or reason is.
Maybe I don't know. It doesn't specify how it's organised. And
one thing I will say, doing it in this way as well. Obviously, there's a certain time pressure to me picking a book here because I think in order to truly go through and browse, you're gonna have to be here for ages browsing through this.
Yeah, playing devil's advocate here, is it just that it's different, or is it
maybe
or is it not as good? I mean, what are your thoughts? I think there are elements in it that to me that are a bit of both. To be fair,
yeah.
And we get very used to just browsing comics and Comixology, going to the other thing I haven't looked at, Vince, I don't know if you've got there, is there a sales section? Because that was always something we looked at, wasn't it?
At the top, there is the comic sales and deals, which I'll look at in a minute.
I mean, I think they're trying to push a Moon Knight because there's a whole whack of that. Gwenpool.
Oh, good.
Morbius, there you go. It's a Morbius sale. So
okay,
into the Jared Leto.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through and trying to find something that's. Every time I see something, I think, "Oh, that looks quite interesting." Oh, that's a collection. I don't want to buy a collection. I want to buy an individual.
Some of this is not too bad. In like, it's got Moon Knight Volume 1, and that's $2.39 for the trade of that. Which
that's on the sale, is it though?
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's quite good.
How do you feel about this? This may be a small detail. You know, when you get to the bottom of the page, would you rather scroll to page 2, or would you? It's got a button that says "See More."
Yeah, no, I don't want that.
And it just extends the list.
No,
would you rather it be like page 1, page 2, page 3? Because
I'd rather it was just an infinite scroll. It just had all the titles there, and you just kept scrolling down and look at them.
So you prefer this sort of scrolling?
No, because that you have to press the button to get more on.
But you press the button, but then it does turn it into like a long scroll rather than a page 1, page 2, page 3. Does that make sense?
Well, it does. Like it unlocks like several more rows, and then you scroll to the bottom of that, and there's another one that says "See More," and you got to keep clicking to go down. So the way people browse websites is the further down the page you are, the less likely you're going to get clicked on. So if the user has to press a button 3 times to get to your title, it's very unlikely people will get to see it or buy it.
I think the problem with a lot of this as well is because you're just judging by the week. There's so much to look at.
Yeah.
And what I found when I used to look at the new releases, I would go on Wednesday basically because that was the big release day. But for instance, when it came to like any other day of the week, the other days of the weeks would probably be the collections, or there would certainly be lots and lots of manga that were released other days of the week.
Yeah, there was all that romantic manga which got released on like a Monday or something.
Yeah,
but of course, this is all mixed with everything else now. So I could be scrolling a lot more than I would normally. Oh, every time I keep seeing this Eden, it's.
I know we're going to go to prices later on, but like I look at some of the stuff and there's no way I'm ever paying. It's like the Incredible Hulk, Peter David Volume 3, and I really enjoy Peter David's run on the Hulk. I've got him, but I'm not paying £32 for a digital book like that. No way. No way.
That's ridiculous money.
Yeah,
that's absolutely ridiculous.
Just
for a book that's been out, it was printed in the 90s.
Yeah, I think you literally pick up the paper version for either 30 or 40 quid.
That will honestly lead into what I'm going to say, man, in a minute. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's just beyond the fucking pale.
Can I also say, I don't know if you have this, Dan, but when I read a comic on Comixology, I don't like to swipe the screen. I don't know why. I like to use the arrows I've got like a keyboard for my iPad.
Oh, right, and you can flip through. Yeah.
And that doesn't work anymore. The arrows don't work anymore in the new Comixology. Yeah.
Hopefully they can amend that.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Then you can just sit there, just a quick tap rather than kind of keep reaching up.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's a bit of a weird one.
Right. Okay.
So have you found a title? You're going to go in there a bit.
I think I have. To be honest, I scrolled back up again because it just became. It was just like just too much. Do you know what I mean? It was just a wall of titles, and I was like. None of them were really
that category out. Of that it was like released between 28th to the 3rd and 4th. It was that when I looked on Friday.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't. I kept thinking, well, Sunday hasn't come yet.
Yeah.
I
don't know why they don't do the classic comic thing of Wednesday to Wednesday.
Yeah, or just daily. Do you know what I mean? That'd be so much easier. You get all the DC releases on the Tuesday, you get all the Marvel and the rest.
Because then you rest assured that I've gone through that day. There's nothing I want on that day, rather than if it's a whole week.
Oh, check back, see if they had anything on Sunday.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I've narrowed it down to 3 titles, which are sort of near each other. Now, here's another level to the experiment, because each of these issues are not issue 1s; they're further issues. Now. I may not, and I've done this before when I've bought comics. I've liked the look of the latest one, but I want to start issue 1.
Yeah.
So I've got New Burn by Chip Zdarsky and Casey Gilly. That's issue 5 up there. Step by Bloody Step, issue 2. That's Simon Spurrier and Matthias Bergara. And Rogue Sun, issue 2 by Ryan Parrott and Abel. I may try Rogue Sun.
Okay.
Partly because, well, we're looking at 2 titles that are 255 and one that is 319. Don't know.
Right.
Don't know what it is. But let's,
what you've done, Vince, similar, but I clicked on the one I liked and I went back and got issue 1.
Yes. Okay. So
I avoided the grief and just bought issue 1 because it was an issue 1 release. But yeah.
I'm going to try Rogue Sun because I think Newburn may be right. Okay. Let's click on Rogue Sun. Oh, I thought it was going to show me all of the books.
You can, if you click on it, on mine, you get a bar that shoots up on the right hand side.
Yeah, right hand side. So we've got
the entire series.
You've got the whole buy now with one click. Got to be careful with that, people. Got to be careful with that. Here's the little synopsis: A Blood Moon Rises with an alpha of my. Oh, that's for issue 2, so we don't want to look at that synopsis for the second one. View entire series. Here we see it. Takes you to a standard Amazon style page.
Okay.
Immediately the options are get the series on Kindle. There are 4 issues in this series, but some of them aren't out yet, so I don't know. Rogue Sun number 1 is £1.27. Yes, please.
There you go, bonus. Look at that.
Yes,
please. Value
please.
for money.
I shall try that. Okay. Now, seems pretty straightforward. You can see the covers of later issues. How do you feel about seeing covers of later issues, by the way? Because a cover can be a real plot spoiler.
Yeah.
I don't mind because I look at previews, so I kind of get that anyway.
Do you think that's because you're conditioned to that as well?
I enjoy, part of my weekly or monthly reading experience is going through previews and seeing what's coming up.
Yeah, it used to be. Yeah, that used to be a big thing with me. But unfortunately with this, you've got the title and then you've got a synopsis next to it with a massive... I just read a one-line for issue 3, which isn't out yet, which could give away some plot spoiler.
Oh,
shit. Okay.
I think one of the other things is because this is on the main Amazon storefront, it's very easy to go off-road, as it were. Like, there's so many ways to get out of looking at comics.
Yeah. Suddenly you're looking at a baseball cap or something. Yeah.
Even there, like where I've got the Kindle stuff, I think, oh, look, wonder what Prime Reading is or the book deals, and then I'm not in comics anymore. They've completely gone. I know we're looking at this a very narrow point of view because we're coming at it from that.
I don't really use a Kindle very much.
I don't.
No, I've used it in the past when I can only get a book that way. But normally, if it's a prose book, I read it.
I used to use my Kindle for my comics, and then I ended up getting an iPad for like my drawing, and then that just doubled.
I just read everything on that.
So
is that faster? Do you find the iPad? Because I had a Kindle and it was a bit slower for me.
If the iPad's faster for me.
The other thing that we haven't mentioned is in the downloading of it, you can read it whilst it's downloading. Now, in the previous Comixology on an iPad app, you had to wait for it all to download before you could read it, but you can start on it in this one.
That was good. I found the download was a lot quicker.
Right.
That could be like situation where I was, but I just like bang bang went on the thing, bought it, turned on the app, and then it just synced immediately.
Yeah. The Comixology new Kindle app only shows on my iPad anyway only shows 3 comics across.
Right. Okay.
So you don't, and what it does is, as if you read one, it puts it to the top of the menu.
Okay.
So rather than you could scroll down and see, or you could just turn it onto the ones that you've got downloaded. You have to scroll down to see newer ones. If you've got 3 along that you're reading,
You'd thought maybe to put them, you could like have a selection for like, oh, this is my reading pile, and
the covers don't need to be that big.
Yeah. I've clicked on issue 1 of Rogue Sun, which looks quite cool. So we're on the page, just to know what we're actually looking at. Here's the synopsis they got. Yesterday, New Orleans' greatest hero, Rogue Sun, was murdered. Today, rebellious teenager Dylan Siegel discovers that Rogue Sun was his estranged father, Marcus, and that he's inherited his father's mantle. Tasked with protecting our world from the forces of the supernatural and solving his father's murder, Dylan will be forced to come to terms with the man he spent the majority of his life hating. And it's got from acclaimed writer Ryan Parrott, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. and Dead Day, and rising star artist Abel, Harley Quinn, Crimes of Passion, comes a supernatural murder mystery that explores the complicated bond between father and son and cements itself squarely in a corner of the Image Comics superhero universe. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's all part of the yeah, I know what they're talking about now. I bought a couple of issues. There's like, is it Radiant Black or something like that?
Oh
Yeah,
that was what it was. Oh right,
Yeah.
so they're sort of building up a superhero universe of Image titles, are they?
I think so.
Interesting. Anyway, so I've got the page, got the price here. Okay, over the side it said Kindle price $127. Buy now, deliver to, and then you got a drop down of your different devices.
And it gives you different devices. So it's like Tony's iPad 2.
Yeah.
You know, it's that sort of thing, isn't it?
If you just want to transfer via computer, what's that one?
I don't know.
Is
It'd
that-
be like you plug in your reader into the computer and then it updates from that.
You think so? I
Well,
guess.
my problem is like I'm on the Comixology section of the site, as it were. I'll go up to the top and say, right, let's see what book Vince is looking at. Type in Rogue Sun, the comics nowhere to be found. We're trying to find a specific title by name.
Right.
I can't seem to find a good way of doing it on the site.
Hey, this is fun. This is fun. I've just noticed something. This is an image book, yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
I look up, you know, when you can see the sort of the journey you've taken for the item that you're usually buying on Amazon. It says comics and graphic novels, publishers, Dark Horse. They might want to look at that.
Right, also, this is a bit of a double-edged sword for me because me and my wife have got our Amazon accounts are linked, and anything I buy now on my Amazon
watch
account,
yourself.
it can be seen. Like, Dan's just bought
Faster Pussycat Kill for the third time.
Okay,
I like
that
that
one.
So if I say just buy now, deliver to your Kindle library, right? Then it will just be part of my comic book library. This is what I'm presuming.
Yeah.
So, okay. You can also, there was a section to buy for others, which I think is quite interesting.
Okay.
The
gifting thing on Comixology was always a bit of a pain, wasn't it? Do you remember we've done it before?
Yeah.
Each other books.
But so, like I said, I'm on Comixology, and say I want to find Savage Dragon's not on here. Imagine I want to find trying to think of a title. Spider-Man: Kraven's Last Hunt.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So it's told me, thanks, Vincent. Oh, thank you, Amazon. Told me it'll be auto-delivered wirelessly to a Kindle Cloud reader. You can go to your device to start reading. Continue shopping the Kindle store. So just in case you bought one and you wanted to go back, I clicked on that. I opened up a new tab for this. I clicked on that, and it just takes you to the Kindle homepage rather than back to Comixology. They should really have a go back to Comixology button. Want to start reading straight away? Read now in the Kindle Cloud Reader. Let's click on that because I want to start reading this straight away. I'm not going to read it on. What the fuck's that?
Read it out loud.
It's got some panel zoom tips. Double click the panel to zoom in. Flip left or right to navigate through panels. To zoom out, double click the panel again. Thank you.
Or you can read it on the screen. It's not quite as good as the Comixology
There
reader.
used to be, when you hovered over things, it would bring up a little sort of menu at the bottom.
Yeah.
So you could switch on the
guided view.
Guided view. Where is the guided view?
It is there.
Did it just say double? Oh, I see. You've got what I'm seeing here is you can double click on panels to zoom, but it's just on that one. You have to double click on a panel, and that just takes you to panel. But so that's the guided view, but it's still got 2 pages open in front of me.
Okay.
This is it's not. Do you know what? It's not the end of the world. It's just something like you said before, Tony. It's something that's going to take a while to get used to. You know, this is more than feasible. This is more than usable. Having used it, I could read like this. But then again, I'm used to reading comics from PDFs and things like that as well. Like when we've been sent comics, I'm no.
Yeah, we're used to that now. Aren't we?
Yeah.
The other thing worth mentioning is there are a lot of companies who haven't previously put their books on Comixology, which are now on the Kindle reader.
Yeah.
So 2000 AD is on there, bizarrely. You can get Judge Dredd collections and stuff on there, and they load them into your Comixology app. And also, there's also some no-brow stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, which we've always kept away from.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you can get In Waves by AJ Dungo. It's on there. Not all the Nobro books, just a few of them are on there.
So I just did a search in for that Craven's Last Hunt, and the first thing that came up was to buy it on Kindle. So I've eat my words on that one.
Okay.
I've tried to find that book Vince has just bought, and I can't find it. It remains elusive.
Yeah. I'm looking at going back to my library. There's loads of books there, so I can click on the old titles. So I went through. I found a book. I bought a book. Fair enough. What I didn't see though was some of those joyous little indie titles that I used to pick up all the time. You know, Cheapest Ships discovered a new creator. You know, that's how Snake Claws came into our life. Something like that. You know, how easy is it for these guys to add stuff? You know, because in terms of the indie, I picked an indie comic, but it was Image. Do you know what I mean? How indie is that? Of course, that's going to be a lot of their titles are going to be front and center. And I can
find mine on there.
I didn't see much else in terms of other things. Now, if I wanted to go back to Comixology,
they say you had to like enliven your links again, because my comic's not on there. Vanguard, I can't find it.
Yeah, I think some people have to resubmit stuff, don't they? I think that's why probably a lot of books haven't been added.
Yeah,
to this.
I think so. Yeah, people just haven't got around to it, man. It's like another thing on other people's list to do, isn't it?
Yeah. You can follow the author, but what I must say is, when you got, considering this is very much tying into like the Kindles and the Amazon devices and stuff, after you buy something, you have the list at the top where it says Kindle Books, Kindle Unlimited, Prime Reading, Kindle Book Deals, Bestsellers and more. You know, fair enough. There should be a tab for Comixology. There should be a tab for that. There's not. Once you've bought from what I can see here, once I've bought something, I'm out of the Comixology shop. I'm out of it. It's just sort of like
back to other things you might consider buying.
Yeah,
a power drill.
And, and also, it said buy now, right? There was no add to basket.
Okay.
I didn't see an add to basket. So
no, like add to wish list either, is there?
So do I buy a comic, then have to go through the whole rigmarole again of going back to the Comixology shop, buying a comic, and then doing it again? I could just be a dumbass here. That's a very real possibility.
So I have to press the back button a few times to sort of.
Yeah. I don't necessarily want to do that too much when I'm buying things, just in case it sends stuff back through again.
Get the fucking same thing a couple of times.
Yeah, so
I do see it as a process that is still settling.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to completely write it off, because it could they might invest a load of time and make it great. So
and this may have changed quite a bit, because like I say, I haven't touched this since all of the changes and stuff. Change bad, me scared.
And the other update around digital comics is the fact that DC are offering an unlimited, I think as of the 28th of this month, you can get, you've got Marvel Unlimited, which is now in the UK. It took a while to get it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't have Comixology Unlimited. That never made it here. But DC Unlimited is coming here this month.
Right, okay.
For a single monthly payment or a yearly payment, you can read all the DC books as they're released. Not as released. I think 2 months, 2 month buffer on it.
You were saying that the Marvel app, rather than being a monthly affair, they took all the things.
They've changed it. I don't know why. I was really enjoying it, and now it's difficult to find anything that isn't this week's new release. There's a most popular characters, which doesn't appear to be the most popular characters.
No.
It just appears to be the ones that somebody at Comixology or at Marvel Unlimited thinks are cool.
So
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
You know what characters are in the top that list.
Yeah,
we don't need to say.
We don't need to say, do we? But the ones who couldn't fucking sell a pot of fucking, pot of coffee.
They can get their issues to issue 5. They're like fucking break out the party hats.
Got party poppers at the Marvel offices. But it's just gone a bit crap. And then every time I log into it, I have to sort of re-sign in. I get an email saying, "Welcome to Marvel Unlimited." I don't really know what it's doing to me.
That's annoying.
Anyway, there you go. My moan.
Fair play.
You can only buy now. Sorry,
right.
while you're talking, I was just looking. I just had a look through a browse, and the Nice House on the Lake #1. I just thought, right, just click on that.
Yeah.
Kindle price $3.99. This price was set by the publisher. You're on issues.
Of the first issue, that's on issue 6, ain't it?
Yeah, it's on issue 6. That's why I thought, maybe if it was cheap,
Yeah.
Buy now. There's no add to. You can't even add it to your basket. What? That's right. They got to sort that out. There has to be a. Because who would use Amazon? If we're going to talk about them in this, because how can you not? Who would use Amazon if you had to just buy one thing at a time and then start the process again?
Yeah, every single.
Not big rollers like us, my friend.
No.
What did you buy, Dan? Just out of interest.
Yeah. I bought a Marcosia tile, which I've just fucking scrolled away from. But if you filibuster,
I bought Astro City issue 1.
Oh, okay.
23 pages, £2.55. I'm not a big fan of Astro City. I understand that people really like it. I kind of see it as kind of a little bit like Marvel's. It's a little bit dry and soulless for me.
I enjoyed the first one. You know when it had the Confessor? There's kind of like the Batman one.
Yeah,
I quite like that.
The two brothers, that one. Yeah.
No, when he's the vampire and the kid goes under him, he's kind of like his Robin for a while until he finds he's a vampire and then he takes over from him. I quite enjoyed that, but I don't really think I read on after that. I was like, okay, this is right for me.
I found it very dull, the new issue. I read it.
Fair enough.
I won't be recommending it.
That was the last time I read one, was years ago.
Okay.
I must say, looking at it as it seems now, and certainly there's loads of comics in front of my eyes as we're speaking, but because they are trying to merge it with the Kindle app and do all of these things like that, it feels like it's being forgotten. You're on a Comixology page, you look anywhere else, it's not mentioned anywhere else. Like I say, there should be, if you buy a comic, you should be able to easily, even if you have to do that one-click thing, there should be a button that takes you straight back to the shop again.
They should have just get the Comixology site and just linked it in with Amazon.
And if they were going to Amazon, they should have done an Audible with it. Make it a separate, just make it a comic.
Separate,
I mean, Audible.
I like that you can buy an app with Audible now. I love Audible. Yeah,
I don't know why they didn't have that.
They could have followed that model, surely.
You can't buy an app on the iPad for Comixology.
No,
what is that nonsense about?
I think it's due to the fact that if you're buying stuff through like Apple, they take a cut of it.
Yeah,
that's why they don't want it.
Yeah, that's in it. Yeah.
It's
so
disappointing. It feels like another. I know it's only a small thing, and maybe I'm fucking over again. It feels like another fucking nail in the coffin. Do you know what I mean?
I think. I have Prime, so maybe I'll take a punt on some Prime reading. Possibly.
Yeah, I think I will too.
Because it seems to be they're pushing it, so right at the front. Fair enough, but that's also by doing that, I'm not giving any love to some indie comics that I'm not going to be doing the browse I used to do.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that for a while, but when I looked at it when we talked about it a couple of years ago, it seemed to be all Star Wars stuff for me.
Yeah,
is it different now? Is it
what on the
Prime reading? It does
there's
quite a lot of Batman and stuff.
There's Batman and you got the Comixology originals. I just clicked on one that was Night of the Ghoul, which sounds just from that.
So what do you do? Do you once if you try and click on that and you say right, send to my.
Now it says when you click on that, I just clicked on the series. All titles of this series are included with your Prime membership. To read for basically nothing, click below for each eligible title. Oh, I see. So then you have the list of the titles, and on the right it says read for nothing. So let's try Night of the Ghoul. Scott Snyder and who else is this? This looks like pretty good stuff.
Isn't this one that was originally on his Substack? Is that one of those ones?
Could
be. They got a deal.
And I just as I clicked on that, it said return a title to continue because ages ago when I said I lent out
you
loads
filled
of
it
titles,
up. Yeah.
And that was years ago. So let's return these titles that I've got. Oh, you fucking kidding me? I just returned a title and it's taken me to that. Thank you. And then I'm right back at the beginning again. So I'm not.
Right.
Yeah, it needs a bit more of a user journey experience.
Yeah. I mean,
you can in-app borrow on the comic. I've just worked out. If you go to the Prime loan bit, like the library bit, you can in-app download from there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's pretty good then, because then you can just browse on the app and download it straight to the device.
Oh, this is Snyder and Francesco Francavilla. Oh, fucking me. How did I sleep on this one? This looks amazing.
Okay, we'll have to go and have a look at that.
Yeah. And it'll be, the thing is, it's on comics, it's on the originals as part of Prime Reading. So I'm going to read these books, and I'm not going to pay any money for them. And, you know, I think this is going to change my buying habits. Well, it has, I think. I will probably say that I'm not so afraid to use it after using it how we have now. The frustration, they need to iron out some of these kinks, because otherwise I'm not going to want to. I'm not going to buy like 6 titles in a week. Do you know what I mean? If I wanted to spend that amount of money, but I'm not going to want to go through the same process every time.
No, I've just kind of like, as soon as they started doing this, I was like, I can't be fucking asked for this.
Yeah. So, you know, but maybe will I use the Prime Reading? I'd like to, you know, maybe I'll take a punt on that. But using it on the web store seems like you're going through a similar process anyway. So we'll see. I'll probably mention some of these titles. I may even I may even use Comics Amazon, or whatever you fucking call it, because you can't really call it Comixology anymore. But I think I'll be looking elsewhere for a lot of my content, or like when I'm at shows picking up trades, and you know that's the. Hopefully this will inspire more people to buy more comics at shows. But yeah, I think it's definitely, I'll be in bookstores buying collections rather than taking a punt, and which is sad, taking on individual issues. But I will also be trying other things, which will lead into my recommend later on this evening. You know, but that was also not something that it wasn't a comic I paid for. But we'll get into that later. But yeah, so we were talking about it a bit as we're going through. So Dan, it sounds like you had a real uphill struggle, but just by going to like the normal Amazon store.
I kind of I tried doing the searching at the top, and I was like, I can't see how to get there. And I thought, well, hold on, it's classified as Kindle, so I searched out the Kindle thing and managed to find my way there, but it wasn't entirely clear. I use Amazon relatively regularly, but perhaps I should have gone straight to the Comixology site, because then it redirects to where you need to be. But it's good that we've all taken a bit of a different route and ways of getting there.
Yeah, I think definitely it's.
We were so used to the old system, weren't we? You know, been using it for 5 or 6 years. Yeah,
it was that old. It ain't broke, so they fix it. But
change. But you know, change isn't always bad, of course. But you've got to, you know, hopefully this won't be something that a failed experiment that they'll in 5 years' time won't exist anymore. That's the fear.
Yeah,
the fear that,
isn't it?
The fear that
all of our books disappear off there.
Yeah,
you know,
because it's like, oh, this isn't working. We've given it a
you never bought it. You were just borrowing it.
Yeah. But definitely it needs to be. You know, if people are going to Kindle, you need a button there. It needs to.
They did say to buy it now though. Like, yeah, well, it didn't really mean that.
Yeah, it didn't say borrow now, did it?
Yeah,
wankers.
Yeah, I wonder also how, in terms of algorithms and stuff, it will affect your browsing. You know, when you go to like your homepage and all of a sudden, like,
oh god,
you were looking for a Mother's Day present, all of a sudden you're being, you know, it's like, oh, you should buy this. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Wonder if
all I get are adverts for sheds these days. You know.
Yeah.
We get like something you just look at a comic. You think, oh, that title looks good. You look at the cover, and then before you know, you're getting emails in your inbox saying, oh yeah, you looked at this. Why don't you check out this? Like, well, I didn't really want to do that.
Do you know what? Every second advert on Instagram at the moment is the Phoenix, because about 3 weeks ago I looked up some Phoenix stuff for our guest.
Yeah,
it's not entirely bad. I looked at the Traveling Man website, and now on Instagram, virtually every website I go to is Traveling Man, which I ain't complaining about, to be honest.
Yeah, it's okay, it's better than what it could be, eh?
Yeah. Christ, yeah.
Especially with his browser history.
But yeah, you wanted to segue onto doing some of the pricing, and like I think we've all kind of got our feelings on digital pricing, and I expressed some of mine there with that Hulk title.
Yeah, well, I did a bit of a test this week, which I ran by you guys earlier, didn't I? Do you want to have a chat about that?
Yes.
First off, so we had a discussion last week, and we said, right, we're going to have a ranty episode, didn't we? A bit, not overly, but we said that we've got a few things that have, over the period of the month while we've been like reading manga, there's a few things that have occurred to us, and one of them, for me, is that long held discussion that we've had, moan about pricing, modern pricing, and I actually feel I spend a lot of money every week on new comics. And occasionally I'd send you the picture of the receipt, which you see, but my wife doesn't. And
even your bill gives me heart failure. Now.
It's always 3 figures, weekly, so it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I'm beginning to think we're being a bit used. So companies are supporting themselves by relying on us diehard fans. We're like an open wallet to them, I think. Whilst also simultaneously pretending that they're progressive and pretending that they're appealing to a younger audience of books that aren't selling. And then they're sort of slightly confrontational with anyone who dares say that the main audience, the people that are supporting these titles, are the people who are buying the Avengers and Spider-Man. It is actually the case. Batman, let's face it, supports the whole of the DC universe.
Yeah.
And then when I look on, I will touch on publicity later in my recommend, but when you look at the publicity, the biggest publicity machine for comics at the moment isn't websites anymore, it's Twitter.
Yeah. And
when you look on Twitter, you're more likely to see phrases like strong female lead or highlighting diversity than you are what Dr. Doom's up to.
Yeah.
And I'm into comics for the stories. I'm into comics for the reading enjoyment. I don't want to know the political opinions of the Inca, or God bless him or her. Yeah. So what I thought is I bought another big stack of comics this week. I buy across the board. I buy different titles, stuff that appears in previews as well as other stuff. And I thought, right, I'm going to randomly choose one Marvel, one DC, and one indie title. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how long they take me to read compared to the price. So should we start with the most expensive of the 3? So the most expensive of the 3 is Shadow War Alpha issue 1. I know you're big fans of the Shadow War that's happening in DC at the moment.
Yeah, bloody hell.
I don't even know what that title is.
Yeah, so
me neither.
So spoilers, this is one where Ra's al Ghul gets murdered and you have to figure out who did it. Basically. Okay. Yeah, long story short. Spoilers. But so it's an issue 1. It's $5.99. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah. It's sold. I'm not going to say the comic shop, but it's sold at a London comic shop for £5.40. Now, $5.99 is too much, but £5.40 is definitely too much. The reason I say that is if you actually put in the exchange rate for $5.99, do you know how much it is in pounds at the moment?
No.
£4.57.
Okay.
So I'm paying 83 pence more on it than I should be. So a $5.99 book should be £4.57, but it's not. So comics in America, that comic will be sold in a shop in America for £5.99, but not here. No siree. You can add almost another £1 on top of that.
That's not worth it. That's not worth it.
I don't know why that is, but
no. Overheads, I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm actually not sure because I get a 10% discount from the store. So I don't know. It's probably more for somebody who just walked in and bought it.
My God.
So it's almost $5.99.
Yeah.
Now it's an action-based DC event comic. The first issue, I'm going to say first issues of events tend to be a little bit more wordy because we have to have the setup, don't we? Jump about between the teams. It's 45 pages plus cover, plus a sort of short editorial. I think this one is about Batman Beyond, about a new Batman Beyond comic. How long do you? So let's call it 47 pages. How long do you think it took me to read?
10 minutes.
Almost 7 minutes 28 seconds.
Okay.
Stuck it on the timer. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay. So that's for a cost of £5.40. I got 7.5 minutes enjoyment. Yeah. Next one, Marvel Devil's Reign Moon Knight issue 1. So Devil's Reign is the current ongoing. It's almost at an end now event over at Marvel. It's not been actually too bad. I've been quite enjoying it. So there's a Civil War element to it.
Okay.
They have little spin-offs as they did with the original Civil War. You know how it is, and this is the Moon Knight little spin-off. $4.99. and I paid £4.50 for it. At current exchange rates, $4.99 should have been £3.80.
Okay.
So I'm paying 70 pence more than I should do. It's 30 pages plus a recap cover plus a cover, plus a recap page plus a cover. So I'm saying 32 pages. Reading time on this was much shorter because it was much less densely written. It was 3 minutes and 45 seconds. All right. And the final one, I'm going to add all this up at the end so you see how much it's cost and how long it's taken me. And the last one was IDW Usagi Yojimbo Goat and Kid 3, which is a repackaging of a black and white story in color. I have on my pull list all Usagi books.
Yeah.
So I get this as well. And so it's a reread of a black and white story, but this time it's been colored. And that was $3.99. I paid £3.60. It should have been £3.04. It's 20 pages and 10 pages of adverts.
You probably blasted through this in about 2-3 minutes.
Took me 3.5 minutes.
3.5 minutes.
Yeah. So for £13.50.
Mate, this is depressing.
Yeah.
It's fucking
for £13.50, I got just under 15 minutes enjoyment of reading comics.
Oh man,
That's not how in
tragic.
anyone's fucking estimation can that be worth the money.
It's not.
And that's not even. That's. I mean, I know some of the stuff in this has been quality artwork, but that's not even taken into account the quality of what you're reading. It's just meat and potatoes numbers of what you're doing.
Yeah.
We are being fucking having our trousers pulled down over here.
Yeah.
You know, more so than the people in America.
Yeah.
Where we're paying like, I mean, on that last one, you know, it was a large portion. You know, it's like what 60% of the price. We're paying more just because the comic shops price it at that.
And that's a reprint.
And that is a reprint, of material that I think was almost like, I think I've got a feeling it's like 20 years old.
I could have swear because I've got a Lone Goat and Kid one, obviously with Usagi and black and white. So
so this is when the first, you know, the ninjas, the first scene, they're like bats, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's quite an old story. I can't remember quite how long ago that is, but quite significant.
So I've got them in one of the trades, definitely.
Yeah. So that's not even new material. But when you think that's like £13.50, what, you know, that's bad, isn't it?
It's really
even
bad.
If you put it next to a movie, a DVD.
It's that thing though of kind of like, because they're selling less and less units of this stuff overall, seems like the price keeps going up to make ends meet. And then it becomes a vicious circle of like, oh fuck, we sold less. We're gonna have to put the price up.
We'll have to put the price up. And who's getting the brunt of that? Us.
Yeah.
The poor mugs who buy them month after month and go into comic shops and buy them. Yeah, they're having to put it up and up because the numbers that are sold are going down and down. Some are selling well, we all know that. Some are not selling well. But there's just no way in the world anyone in their right mind can describe that as value for money.
No way. Oh god. How's the youth, as it were, supposed to get into fucking comics?
Well, that's the point, man. Yeah. What are they going to do if they got £13.50 in their pocket? What are they going to buy?
Ain't going to be free
comics.
Yeah, ain't going to be free comics. That's nuts.
It's mental, isn't it? Yeah.
You could buy that fucking Onward Towards Unbearable Death for like, it's like 12, 13 quid.
Yeah.
Rather than free comics. I mean, that's why nowadays I literally only get trades. Maybe I get, if the odd kind of floppy piques my interest, I'll get it. But it's a zero-sum game, man. That's just unreal.
The Sabretooth trade, I'm reading the Sabretooth series. It's 5-issue mini-series. The Sabretooth trade has just been stuck in previews. 5 issues, $17.99 for a 5-issue trade. If you divide that by 5, it's £3. It's $3.60.
Yeah.
So it's almost as expensive just to buy the trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but I'd much rather have a trade.
And it'll be the same. It'll be the same price digitally as well. That fucking gets me how like you can't, like, some of them charge more for the digital collections than
the physical.
I don't. Yeah.
But we've echoed this opinion before. If I own a digital comic, I don't own a digital comic. I want the physical thing in my hands. The digital for me is the reading copy, or
I don't own it if it's digital in my head. Yeah.
There's so many times I've taken a punt on a comic in digital and thought, actually, that's pretty good. And I get the physical, and other times, I don't really like that. And
well, they must be just laughing at us. You know,
Yeah.
I will get them to. They'll pay £4 an issue. £4.
I
30 pages of comic. What are they doing?
I couldn't tell you what's going through their heads, but like it just seems a business strategy that's just doomed to fail. It's
a desperation. They're desperate to pay these artists who they want to be artists, full time. But it's hard to support yourself, on the money that comes from a comic that sells 20,000 issues.
You just got to start saying it's not viable anymore. And to me, like that is not the end of comics. If Marvel and DC can't do what they're trying to do now, it's not viable.
Yeah, they have to evolve, man.
Yeah, they got to change, otherwise you're going to perish, get eaten up. But like, just because they go under or they don't put comics out there, it's not the end of comics as we know it. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah. Manga's booming.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the void, we get people kind of surging in. Like you've had the kind of resurgence of like the underground comic scene, which kind of appears to be sort of thriving, as you said, T. With
I just feel that we're almost the forgotten people. The readers. Twitter's not full of readers of comics; it's full of creators and people in the business. Nobody actually thinks about this. We're just a wallet to them. Yeah. And that's, do you know what? I'm seeing that in small press as well. Is where I buy comics to review on the site. And the time some people it takes 3 months to send me their comic. Some people don't even send me it until I remind them.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's almost like, he sent me some money. I'm not worried about that. So which is almost like times a million for Marvel and DC. They giving us money. We don't really care about them. We'll fucking ignore them. We'll just move on and do this.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, it's becoming ridiculous, especially when you've got like 60-year-old material that's been stuck out in trades for like £2.50 an issue, even within the trade.
I mean, we've like that attitude seems to extend to some crowdfunding stuff as well.
Yeah,
we discussed during the week when it's kind of like people have paid for their book, their product, even though you're not guaranteed it through Kickstarter, and then it's like, well, you're gonna have to wait till I shift some units before I can afford to get this sent out to you. And it's like, you've done this really wrong. It's really the people you're punishing is the people that the last people you want to fucking throw under the bus because they've backed you. And you're not fulfilling it. It's
customers king, man.
Yeah,
not the people who direct you on Twitter who you want to get in friends with, and I just feel like the fans are the forgotten people. I felt that with the 2000 AD convention. Go and have a look at the numbers of people who listened or watched videos on that, and you'll tell who's the real popular people at 2000 AD.
It's absolutely like non-starter. The most popular people are going to be.
But the thing is, you can't say anything about it because you're toxic. We're not toxic. Which it's costing me so much money.
Yeah,
and I'm not poor, but I'm not super rich or anything.
Yeah, but you don't want to fuck off all your money,
waste
money.
It
away. Yeah. And people who kind of seem to actively berate you for doing so. It just seems fucking
We're
nuts.
Not interested in your opinion or in your money or the fact you exist.
This poll they did in the States, and I wish I fucking seen it over here, but like the estimation of like certain things in the United States, and the people were getting them way wrong just because they're presented to them so often saying this is a real big issue, this is a real problem, and then it's like, well, actually, it's only accounts for like 2% of the population. You don't really need to be concerned about this.
But that's what I feel like. People,
you get the concern, like the Twitter thing of sort of saying, we've got that, and that's even a smaller subset. And then that seems to be like the litmus test for what you're going to do with your company or your kind of publishing kind of agenda. Like, no, don't sit on that. Look, get feedback from the readers, the people who are actually buying the product, rather than just kind of like seeing what people that don't like the product think about it. Do you know what I mean? It seems nuts, and then we're just going down like spiraling down and down and down and down.
Yeah, it's just I'm an open wallet for these people because I bought X-Men. I bought every issue of X-Men. They know I'll buy the next one. They can put it at $7.
I've said to you many times over the years, stop doing it.
Yeah. No, I can't, man. I can't. Yeah, do you know what I mean? I agree with you. I feel like And
I think that speaks volumes, though. I know, like, you'll always support them and you always love the comics and stuff. But I know certainly over the past couple of years, you're like, I've just got a stack of books. I'm not reading them.
There has been, to be fair, I think lockdown changed that a bit for me because I had the time to catch up. But definitely, mate. There are.
But what does that say that you need a fucking pandemic in order for your business for people to read your comics? Jesus.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. And the for me, the stuff I'm reading, the quality isn't there. It's occasionally there is some books. You only got to listen.
You get a flash.
To know how much we fucking love certain books.
Yeah.
But the general quality, I think, is down. Some of the stuff, that Moon Knight comic, I did the time and motion on a minute ago, is fucking terrible. It's just really badly done.
Without naming names, there's that comic I sent on to you two that I read, and I got third.
I looked at that today, mate. That's awful.
I've got third in, and I was just like, nah. I'd rather just fucking look out the train window.
Yeah, without saying the name of the title, you can't criticize that title without somebody calling you some ism or toxic.
Yeah,
it's just not very good. It's just there's no two ways about it.
There's no worth to this. It's worthless.
Yeah. Oh,
there you go. That was a good moan, wasn't it?
It's comics is in a real weird place.
Yeah.
At the moment,
I was gonna have I've got a bit more of a little bit of a moan.
Go for it. Go for it. This is the week, voice. Dan. This is the week.
Yeah. The voice. Oh, I'm going to move away from Kickstarter because they're doing NFTs or blockchain. And it's like, okay, well, let's see how that plays out. See, where are we going to go to then? And it's like, well, you can't go to what's it called, Indiegogo, because that's all got the comic gators on. You can't use that. And then it's like, oh, I know, I've set up my own website, and that people go there. No, they won't. They won't do that.
Yeah,
they won't go to your website. The fact the Kickstarter is like a massive thing. You can go there and browse all these things. Yeah. They won't go to your website, and if they do, you're going to see a fraction of the sales of what you did. And then a lot of the people, a couple of weeks down the line, month down the line, oh, here's my new Kickstarter. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people went quiet, weren't they? And as well, it's all the people who are saying all that stuff. The people that we all hear that voice that Dan's doing are all saying it on Twitter. Last time I logged into Twitter, they asked me if I wanted to have an NFT profile picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's slaves to it.
But you don't have to have an NFT profile picture. Okay.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, but they are making money from it technically.
You don't have to. You don't have to use Kickstarter. That's a false equivalence. Okay, I'm out. I'm not interested in what you have to say. But just sit back maybe and think. Okay, how am I going to get my comic into the hands of the people that want to read it?
Yeah.
And pull in that kind of thing of, I'm not going to use Kickstarter anymore. What can we do? You just got to think about this stuff, man, because I'll
tell you what, man, it's interesting because, as you well know, everyone knows, Nobrow got a bit of a knocking about 2 years ago. And I kept a record of everyone tweeting about it. I kept the names of every person tweeting about it, right? And I revisited that a couple of weeks ago. About 8% of them have deleted their tweets. And I bet that's what's happened with Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But all these people who've moaned about it will delete those tweets, so somebody can't go back and say, oh, hang on a minute, 3 weeks ago you said if you use Kickstarter, you're a member of the far right.
Yeah.
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 It's just one of those. We all have those moments. We all have those moments where you're like, "Fucking hell!" Like sometimes I have my. I mean, it's a completely different scenario, but I have my nerd rage moments. The moments are like, "Well, this isn't like the thing I like. I need to say something about it." And
I'm not saying I'm not faultless.
Of course, man.
And I pick up the phone, and then I just think, no, just, and I step away. I'm just sort of like, just fucking have a cup of tea and take a breath, Vince.
We've all stepped away from social media.
Yeah.
I tried to. I fucking got back on Twitter again.
I reacted badly to that thing I was telling you about earlier. The thing about do a GIF of the movie you've seen 20 times. So I put a tweet out. Who the fuck has time to watch a movie 20 times? And then I deleted it.
Yeah. but sometimes something might crop up, which would be. Fucking hell, imagine this. Good news or like a bit of artwork, which means you follow a creator. Earlier today, I just saw something that was just in my timeline that I sent to the guys and said, this comic looks quite cool.
By a creator. That was nice. Yeah, it was a nice cover.
And the creator was very much, I've been working on this 130-page graphic novel and I'm terrible at marketing myself, but it's going to print soon. I was like, ooh, that's when
I followed
that's when it works.
I texted you, didn't I?
That's when it works well. Yeah.
The other thing gets my arse is people who race to announce people have died, and sometimes they haven't.
Yeah,
we've been bit by that a couple of times. What the fuck is that all
about?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Strange place, strange times.
Yeah. It's much. I mean, much like this show. It's always lively.
Get that word out your mouth.
Keep your fucking something name out of
Yeah. Keep my fucking podcast name out your fucking mouth.
I mean, we're not going to talk about it.
No.
But at least he actually hit him rather than just talking about him on Twitter. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I come out of. I mean, fuck all this. Oh, I'm going to fucking, what a wanker. No, we'll have a fight.
Oh, dear. God.
Yeah.
Just right. I mean, comics is just as lively sometimes, isn't it? So, yeah. So, what will it be like next week? Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, this year in itself, everyone is so funny. Everyone was going, "Oh, I can't wait for 2021 to be over. Oh God, 2022,
That'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Just as 2022 was pulling
War
its
breaks out,
pulling its trousers down, and just taking a shit over us all. But so and there's just away from all of this Twitter nonsense. There's a lot of people going through, going through serious stuff, going through real stuff. Let's just take time to remember that. Whether it be like people around the world or sometimes people going through a hard time. It's not all about social media and some opinion about something you've seen or, let's all just take a breath sometimes. He says, as we've just done a good hour about us winking.
Yeah, it's an hour.
About digital comics and such. But, yeah.
I'm reading a book at the moment by Robert Crumb. And it's, I think, a book of his letters, and it's called Your Vigour for Life Appalls Me. And I think that's the best title ever.
That's an interesting read about T.
Yeah. Oh, mate, he's a beast. Yeah.
I did go to years ago an exhibition that had the Robert Crumb stuff, and like it's really interesting, like seeing like these actual work in the flesh, as it were.
I mean, I'm doing a podcast and talking about him, but whilst I love his line, man, I love how he draws, but I can't approve of a lot of it.
No. Yeah. I like when he used to make comics with his brother, and his brother was just like a bit out there. And there's like his brother's like writing the text, and literally the text is like 90% of the panel, and with this tiny little character's head like squashed under the balloon. It's like you're not quite getting this.
Yeah. And he likes to get piggybacks. I know you're a big fan of the piggyback, aren't you?
Who isn't?
I always remember like he's describing some woman. It's like her butt was like two tightly inflated beach balls. I was laughing at that. What a guy. He gets cancelled and uncancelled like on the regs, doesn't he?
Yeah, he is quite regularly. Yeah, I was reading one about him today about there's this woman he fancies, or one of his characters fancies, who hasn't got a head.
Oh, I've seen that one. Yeah. And doesn't her head come out? She's got like a kind of like a demon like head or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Bit mental.
Yeah. Good.
Anyway,
good stuff. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Never iron anything.
Anyway, we have enough of this ranting, raving, and general nonsense. We've got some shout outs this week. Tony,
we've got a raft of them.
Well,
so I put a shout out. Like we're back back on the toilet again. So give us something to shit out. So
what
lovely expression?
What the?
I don't know what that means. So I've got quite a few. So shall I go through them?
Yeah,
they're all people we know and stuff. So past guest Andrew Clemson is about to launch a Kickstarter for the final issues of Volume 1 of Damsel from D.I.S.T.R.E.S.S.
Yes,
excellent. We talked about with him on the show about that. It's Dungeons and Dragons. You'll like it, D-Man. You like Vince. You like this. Dungeons and Dragons meets The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Yeah. Go search it out and sign up for the pre-launch page. You can do that. There's one of those landing pages. You go and sign up to be notified. Go follow on Instagram BatMonthsArt. BATTMUNCE Art. BatMonthsArt. We all know Matt. Matt's a buddy of ours. He's on the Slack. He's always on the Drink and Draws. He's doing it's a lot of his art, and he's also doing an A6 improvised sketch comic. He's good laugh, and I think he might be doing something in the DUI too. So we'll see. Also go by GlassCity, the story of the missing girl, issues 1 and 2. I think you might be mentioning this, Dan. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll leave that to that, but that you can, I'll give you, I'm sure Dan will give you it, but it's glasscitycomics.bigcartel.com. Dan will be describing that in a bit. Go and find London Gothic Chapter 1. It's now on Kickstarter and it has 13 days as we talk now. It's the story of unlikely heroes battling against a psychopathic demon in the best city on the planet, London. Look for it on Kickstarter or at London Gothic on Twitter. Our buddy Gareth A. Hopkins, I bought it yesterday. Go by Ghosting Things. the new release from Gareth. It's 107 drawings of ghosts being in things. It doesn't just have creations from Gareth. It also has two very new and exciting up-and-coming artists in the zine field called Martha and Bill, which I think you need to experience. GRThink, GRTHINK, GRThink.bigcartel.com. You can buy a copy of that and his other books. And we're big fans of Gareth's work.
Yeah.
There's something very different and very interesting and very thoughtful about his work. I suggest you have a little browse through and buy some stuff on that page. Death of a Necromancer is on Kickstarter by our buddy and Slack member Nick Bryan. He's also been on the show. I think he was at the Thought Bubble special.
Yeah, I need to have him on properly.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Nick's been talking a lot about Nick's a big comics reader, and I think he's also feeling his pocket being pinched because he was talking a lot about Spider-Man today on the Slack. It's with artist Robert Ahmad, who we've also spoken about before.
Yeah,
and it's about the good artist in the sort of Darwin Cook kind of field stuff, I'm going to say. It's the arrival of necromancy in a small English town. Death of a Necromancer. I've also backed that one. It's got, I think it just needs a couple more quid and it'll be over the line. But so go and have a look at that. Luke Aldridge. Aldridge has a motion comic. You can read it over at thepapabearchronicles.com. You can also preview images of Phaser Force, Willow and the Witch King, Squidhead, and more over at his site. I was checking out some of the art and there's some really nice looking stuff. You can also look up Hunting Dawn, DAWN, on YouTube, and it's kind of a motion comic thing he's done. Good. Luke's. I think we met Luke at Thought Bubble. I think is he the dude who lived about a mile from me, and then we met him in Harrogate? Is that right?
I think that might be him. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. And I've got one final one, which is more of a sort of on a personal note, really. Thanks to everyone who backed. I know you two guys did, and thanks a lot. Me and Adam for our year on Patreon. It was a good ride. I think we put out 12 full comics and some other artwork as well. Thanks to the third member of the team, our D'Artagnan, as we call him, Daryl Thorpe, who also rocks. Even though it does appear that we may have been cruelly murdered by Cliff Cumber on the last Boomsville, we do continue. There are new comics. In fact, both of you, Dan and Vince, are taking part in one of the new ones. And one is, I'm looking to release it at TCAF in June. So me and Adam are going to TCAF in Toronto, and then we're going to Heroes in Charlotte. And we will hopefully have at least one or two new comics ready to release then. We did actually just say we'd run the Patreon for a year. And I'm hoping that people got something out of it.
Totally.
Thank you, man. We kept it, quite a low price, and we put a lot of comics out there.
Yeah, it's really good. Kept moving. It was something up there all the time.
Yeah. For people who run Patreon, I know you do, Dan. It's a lot of work. Man.
It is.
It's a lot. We did... So we did try and make it sort of value for money. So big love to everyone who helped out on that one. So that's my shout. There you go. Mine.
Nice. Dan, have you got any?
I've got a couple. Yeah. You're going to like this one. Dun, 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 dun. Hi, I'm Steve Tanner of Time Bomb Comics, and I'd like to welcome you to the pre-order campaign for Spectrum, a full-color, perfect-bound, 44-page comic anthology featuring 3 new and original comic adventure sets set within the worlds of Jerry Anderson. We've got new Captain Scarlet, Space Precinct, and Terrorhawks. And that's funding now on Kickstarter.
I tell you what, Steve. Like, you're on the show not a few weeks ago. You're sounding different, man. What's happening?
Different. Yeah. It's I don't know. Brain injury.
Maybe you got those Joe 90 glasses on.
Yeah.
This looks awesome though. Well, so
Spectrum, new stories from the world of Jerry Anderson.
Great cover image.
That fucking cover image is amazing. It's really good.
Yeah.
So great, good stuff. You can go back that. It's made its goal. Steve delivers on his created 20 Kickstarter campaigns, and
he treats Kickstarter pretty much like a pre-order. The book's sorted, and
there's examples of all the artwork on there.
This has been in the pipe work for a long time. So as soon as it's not long after you've backed it, it will be probably in your hands. In fact, it says on the page June 2022. So that's
soon.
Yeah, that's soon indeed. So definitely get your hands on this.
So also we've got the Swansea Gaming Festival. Saturday, April 9th. Yeah, they reached out to us and asked us if we'd like to attend. Unfortunately, we're unable to, but it looks like a really good event. So we've got Saturday, the April 9th, and Sunday, April 10th. SCGC 2022 celebrates the return of physical events by expanding in every way possible. With a bigger venue and a 2-day event, we'll be bringing our largest ever selection of creators, guests to the city to show off the depths and creatives across the country and showcase our homegrown talent too. So they'll be also making money for charity. There's going to be tabletop gaming, video, cosplay, Tony. There you go.
Cool.
And comics all ready to roll. So go check that out.
If I'd had a bit more notice on that, I'd have gone, because obviously my office is in Cardiff, which isn't that far. So I'd have probably done that one.
Yeah.
So maybe next year I'll take a trip down or a trip up the coast. Yeah.
So go check that one out. That's good.
Nice. So that's it for the shout outs, I believe. So without further ado, should we recommend some comics?
Yes, I've got two.
Let's get cheery again, shall we?
Yeah, talk about good comics.
Well,
have you both got one or two?
I've got one.
I've just got one.
Oh, shall I bookend this then? I've got a quick one and then a longer one. So
go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So my first one is Soria, the Death Dealer, #2, Sword and Sorcery in the Tragic Future. Art and story by Matchy, $6, full color. And this story is called In the City of the Dead. I previously reviewed.
Awesome.
Yeah, I previously reviewed issue 1, which was black and white. This is color. Soria is a barbarian in a world that is a mix between Dungeons and Dragons again, but also Mad Max. She's a kind of mercenary. She's at the bidding of this alien lizard-looking dude called Dr. Evus. It's got all the stripes of Italian Mad Max exploitation movie kind of stuff. You know,
sounds fucking great.
Issue 2 finds us back in the city of this dodgy wizard who's previously in issue 1 had sent us on a quest, and she realised that he's a shyster, and she's gone back with her enchanted sword to sort him out. His name is Joe Wooder. Oh, that's about. He's the wizard, and he's zombified the whole town. So she just sort of fight away through these sort of weird zombies. But just as she reaches him, the wizard disappears, and she recovers a brain gem, which he's had in the head of a zombie, which he's using to raise the dead. But it turns out that everyone on the planet wants this gem, so it kind of leads into the next story. You get the story from that. It's not overly complicated. It's not like this sort of thing. It's just fun. The second issue's in color. It actually feels a bit slicker, this second issue. The first one felt a little bit more old school underground. This is more something that we would put out over here probably at a convention. It's good though. And she's a great female barbarian. I know we were just talking about Crumb, but I think she looks like a little bit like a Crumb lady.
Okay.
And I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I mean it in the fact that, you know how a lot of people draw Red Sonja, like she'd probably have trouble lifting that sword.
Where they've drawn it. Like a bigger lady kind of.
Yeah, she looks like she'd kick your ass.
Yeah,
she can swing a sword, and I think it looks really good. I would say if you do like Dungeons and Dragons, or if you like those sort of schlocky movies, it's going to be up your street. I mentioned on the last one when I reviewed the first issue that it would be great to have her and Herc in the same comic. I think it's a perfection in relation to that. But watch this space, because there is some talk about it. So we'll see how we get on with that.
Oh man, what a fucking crossover that'd be.
Yeah, that'd be fun. You know what's going to happen in that, don't you?
Yeah, I can. You
know,
yeah, and I want to see it.
Vince is thinking about it now.
Furiously.
Yeah. You can find Matchy on Instagram, mattchee.art, matchy.art. He's just been in another anthology, something called Occult Fantasy, which you can download from his site, which is www.matchy.com. You can get copies of this and from his website, but also at strangerspublishing.com. And you can also find him on Twitter at Matchy. So go and follow him. He's a good egg, and I like his stuff. And he's just one of those guys, like American creator, who's putting out these fun, slightly violent, little bit sexy comics, just on the regular, which is good. I think this seems to have seemingly only come a couple of months after I read the first issue, and he's like, I'm sorry I've taken time on it. I think, Cross, if it was like that over here, think of the market, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. I really liked it. So it's called Soria, the Death Dealer. Get issue 1 and 2 if you can, because they're both good. That's my first one.
9. Not 9? Nice.
9.
Dan, what have you got?
I've got GlassCity.
GlassCity?
Is it GlassCity?
I don't know. I wondered that.
I think Glasgow. I don't know.
I might be Glas then. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe not. I don't know. Dave, you have to let us know. I'll call it GlassCity. Writer is David Krenner. We've got art by Roman Gubsky. Letterer is Ryan Bilyak, and this is a kind of a pulp noir kind of tale, but set in a kind of far future cyberpunk-esque Glasgow. And it focuses on the lead character, which is Gabriel Gatti, and he's a detective who kind of works in the city. And GlassCity is really brutal, harsh place, like kind of like it is now. if your tourist goes up there and kind of like doesn't watch where he's going, or it gets preyed upon quite easily, it's kind of really a grim place, actually grim. But for the kind of detective Gatti, he's been ground down by the place, and he suffered like a tragedy in his past that's kind of utterly just fucked him over and shattered his faith in anyone, really. He's kind of burnt out. It's a kind of classic noir trope.
Okay.
But he comes across a case that bears a real resemblance to what happened to his daughter, and when she went missing, and he realizes that there might be a connection here, and essentially he's got roughly 24 hours to get to the bottom of this before another case where another girl has been kidnapped under similar circumstances. He's got 24 hours to try and find her and see what's happened to her before she's kind of swallowed by the city. And if he can find her, maybe he'll be able to get a bit of closure on what's kind of haunted him his entire life. There's a little kind of artwork, maybe a little bit Frank Miller-esque in some aspects.
Okay. Yeah.
The intro story, there's a young man who lives, I think it's China or Japan, and he's got a real interest in Scottish culture after seeing some bagpipers in his city, and he goes over there as a tourist, and doesn't head out too well for him, and that's the kind of the intro to the story. And through the kind of detective's eyes, Detective Gatti, you kind of see the city, the ups and downs of it. There's a lot of downs, and I'll be interested to see where the case goes. This is actually a title you can read on Comic House.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course it is. That's right. Yeah,
all 3
volumes.
You
were on his show, weren't you? He does that.
I was, yeah.
Brewgooder thing, doesn't
popped up on Brewgooders. That was great. I've never done a kind of live stream show before. That's a lie, because we've done it with one before on Facebook. There you go. I caveat that. So I get out of it.
I got to leave you messages, didn't I? While you were talking. Yeah.
It's kind of good that you're trying to throw people off. So I can see your knob. It's like, what? So if you've got a Comic House subscription, you can go check that out, read it, see what you think. If not, you can order it directly from David. He has it on his store, which can't find the. Well, if you go to
GlassCity Comics, bigcartel.com.
That's on the same as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook,
and he's on the Slack as well, Dave. Isn't he?
And Dave's on the Slack. Yeah, he's active on the Slack. It's good, really good dude. So go check that out. That's GlassCity or GlassCity. Please tell them us which one.
Please let us know.
Wrong. Yeah,
on a postcard, and don't just write it down again.
You pronounce that GlassCity.
Oh, thanks.
It's like a letter in Viz. He goes, me and my wife are arguing how nice biscuits are pronounced. Is it nice or is it nice?
Everything comes back to Viz. We've got to do a t-shirt for that.
Yeah. Vince?
Okay, my one. Sort of following on from what I said earlier, I went to Webtoon.
Oh, nice!
To have a browse there.
You trendy young hipster.
Which was, I know. Well, I thought I just wanted to read some comics, and there's obviously all the Shonen Jump stuff, which I'm working through. But I thought I wanted to try something else, and the Webtoon sort of layout and stuff was very reminiscent of that. The similar experience to Shonen Jump, certainly from a web browser kind of thing, And it's been a while since I've read something from this, and sometimes it's a wall of titles. And if you go to like the Webtoon sort of website, it is very much they literally the comics you see on that day are the comics that are being released. They have like a daily schedule, like a Monday to Sunday sort of list. Do you know what I mean? The importance of and Dan, you know this with your webcomics, the importance of having a specific day.
Yes, you update all the time.
Yeah. like, do you find that like it helps having that one particular day, because that's kind of like readers just regularly go back to that. They know where they are.
Yeah. The kind of, because there's no contract, like they're not paying for a product, and all they have is your kind of word and the goodwill you build up with your readers. If you just stick out a page like every so often, once in a blue moon, it can kind of test some people's patience. Whereas if you're kind of regularly doing it, boom, 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 it helps you stand you in good stead. I've not always followed that, but
but there's a lot to be said. Like very much like podcasts. Do you know what I mean? Just keep a regular schedule, and people will be like, oh yeah, I know that this comic comes out on that day, so you check it out. But for someone like me that hasn't done something like that, it's quite daunting to go to the webtoon and there's just a wall of different titles, all kinds of things. So I had a browse, had a look at some things. And I picked up one called BlackSmith by Boardman, who is literally Boardman, but it's a French creator living in Brussels. He's done a couple of titles on there from the looks of it. Been making webcomics for over 15 years. It's got a very sort of animated sort of style, like a cartoon come to life. But BlackSmith itself is a sort of it's an adventure pirate story. And the synopsis, it updates every Tuesday. Synopsis is: Zoa always thought there was nothing more cruel and monstrous than a pirate. Then she became one. Thanks to a mysterious Jinn, her soul is trapped in the body of the dread pirate BlackSmith, the man who tried to kill her. Now she must lead his bloodthirsty crew and sail under the flag that terrorized her village in search of a way to get her life back. Sadly, with each raid and battle, Zoe is learning that monsters aren't born, they are made. I thought, yay, pirates.
Good synopsis cool. There.
Yeah. Pirates, this is cool. And this is indeed a cool series. I just started reading it and I just kept going through the chapters, as it says. And it is separated by like book one. They're done in episodes with Webtoons. For those that don't necessarily know what Webtoons is, it's one continuous read, isn't it, Dan? You just read straight down. And a lot of the books, I think, a lot of the web comics that are created there, yes, they do get collected into and they end up being hugely successful Kickstarter books and collections and things. But I think the creators definitely think about how it reads down, isn't it? They're not just creating just flat comic, your normal comic book pages and then just scrolling down. They're thinking about the pacing.
You got to think about the page turns when you're writing a comic that way, but you don't have to think with this, do you?
But you just read down, and I think there's a lot to be said for the dramatic pacing of a mouse scroll. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
You can pace out. You can definitely sort of pace out your narration and things, and this book is definitely one that sort of plays on that. It has a sort of, like I say, it's like an animated style. It's like, in some ways, it looks like a Disney cartoon. Great sort of details. It took a couple of episodes to get going,
right?
Because and I was thinking, it's going to be a pirate story. In the first couple of issues, it's very much about a girl from a tribe, and like there's mystics in the tribe, and there's certainly that comes into the story and everything. I didn't read the synopsis. I just thought, this is cool, I'm going to take a punt on it. So that synopsis is the first time I've properly read that fully. And I was thinking, but this is interesting, but it didn't jump into the sort of pirate story like I thought it was going to. And then I thought, but then when it picked up pace, and then by the end of the first issue, should we say, the pirates are coming, and it paces it well. And then the pirate attack on the village goes very well, and it it's not a gruesome or violent story, but there is violence that happens in it, and some of it is fairly rough, but done in you don't need to see it to know that someone's been smacked over the head several times. And then I just found, at first I was thinking, the story's taking a little while to get going, even though I was on the first issue. So that's down on me, because in my head I wasn't giving it its fair due at that time. And then before I knew it, I was like, what am I on? Hold on, I'm on fucking issue 4. The story was going, and it was, it was really sort of flying at a pace. You were introduced to these called.
Is it in a sort of manga style then?
It's not a manga style. Now, this is the thing about webtoons is a lot of them are very manga-like.
Right.
This feels. It's like I say, it's like an anime. It's not a manga animation either. It does have that sort of slightly Disney sort of style. I will put a link, but it's not like you've got a web. Like it's webtoons.com/en/supernatural/BlackSmith because they have them by different genres. But I think if you just look for BlackSmith on
that's
Webtoons,
free, is it?
This one was free. Yeah, I was just reading it, and then I just kept going. I think there's quite a few books to sort of read of it. Several issues, and there are other pirates sort of coming into it. From what I see here, there are how many issues? There's quite a few. I've still got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, another 8 issues. No, 9 issues left to.
Wow. Okay.
Left to go. So a nice way to sort of pick up on the story, and it's just a fun read. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to get caught up on it.
Is it its own app? Is there a Webtoons app? Then?
Yeah, you can do your own app.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that would read like. For me, it read quite nicely on the web browser. Because I could see the art nice and big on my screen, and I was scrolling down. I don't know what the experience would be like on a phone. I think that would be quite an interesting.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it like an iPad app.
Yeah, and that's
tends to be right.
Yeah. I think that could be quite interesting.
I've been eyeing up Webtoons for my next comic could be, and thinking about how would I build that and how would this work, because you got to think completely differently to having a page.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally. And this one, I did notice it was sometimes you read them and it just sort of says, end of chapter, blah blah blah. There's a definite design that Boardman has got from this, because you've got the header at the top. You scroll the story down, and then for the end of each chapter, it sort of finishes. He's got a little graphic which looks like a ripped bit of paper, because most of it's against like a black background. But then he's got a sort of ripped black bit of paper where it's got like almost a business card, for want of a better term. He's got like a design at the end which says, "Want more? Take your pick. Patreon.com, Boardman, Instagram, Facebook." It gives you all his, So at the end of each strip, and then you have to scroll down a bit more and find the other titles for it. So this was I would say this has been one of the more successful. I think I read Law Olympus on Webtoon as well, because that's an absolute juggernaut of a title, that is. But BlackSmith is a very fun title. If you haven't heard of it, and certainly I know a lot of our listeners are no stranger to things like Webtoons, BlackSmith's a good one to get stuck into. I think I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes and how long it goes on. So check it out. And I think, as I was saying, because of the positive experience I had with this, I'm going to try it a couple more.
Okay, yeah. That's a good shout.
And as we're I'm not going to necessarily buy stuff on Comixology, but I'll lean into discovering some new creators this way. So I think this is almost where my comics reading is leaning to. In the world of, because I've always been I want to discover the new band before they become popular.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's always been sort of hardwired into me. So I think this is a good way.
It's like when I was reading that True Beauty comic, and like a sitcom, it would cut back to various locations. You get that. I think I might have said this in an episode, that you get this external shot of the place that they're in, be it a coffee shop or something, and they would use the same shot in the different episodes. But for me, because it was kind of like this digital title you just flicked through and you just span through it quite quickly.
You weren't feeling like you're being ripped off.
No, it didn't bother me at all. It was like, this is another way of telling. It's not like a premium on, I've got a page size and I've got to make sure I tell the story within this space.
Yeah.
You can just add another panel in. It's not a problem. You just keep flicking past it.
That's fascinating, that, isn't it? Like,
it
is a real interesting way to think about making comics.
And if it's a bit slightly different, if it's a bit not lazier, but if like there's a character looking down, then the next panel he's got his eyes looking up with a different bit of text.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, lack of backgrounds don't bother me quite so much. That sort of thing. Well, it's a free reading experience. Who are we to moan to? You know
exactly.
This is a great example of with this title. I noticed that it's very much, we're used to reading left to right. With the word balloons and the speech bubbles. This one, you're following it down, and I find that with a lot of like Webtoons as well. It's all drawing you down and continue reading. Yeah, it's great. So I'm going to definitely try more. I'd be interested to see what. I almost went to Spider-Forest to have a browse down before I went
place to be.
So I think I'm going to try Spider-Forest because there's lots of collectives, isn't there? Like Hiveworks and things like that. I think.
Yeah, I mean, on Giving on Spider-Forest, you've got the different sections. So there is a post-apocalyptic section. There's I don't think there's actually a superhero section. It's not.
Okay.
There's like an action section, thriller, romance, etc.
Yeah, and they're very much like, and I noticed Webtoons with you just got a little square, but the little sort of thumbnails doesn't really show you anything of the book.
No,
you kind of have to go by what the title is and the genre, and this was very much supernatural. So I went. Yeah,
you can always Google like top 10 or good horror titles on Webtoons, and you'll find one or two articles that people have written, and you can spin through a synopsis and think, oh, actually that sounds all right, sounds like my cup of tea, and you can go and check it out there. But like I said, on the Webtoons thing, there's so many comics, you might be like, fucking hell, where do I start here? You get a bit intimidated by it.
Yeah. And that's what we're here for. So check out BlackSmith.
To intimidate you.
Start you off with BlackSmith and see how you go on from there. And that is my one. Tony,
nice one.
Take us
cool.
home.
I shall finish this off.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is one that you've looked at, Dan. I've sent it to you. I'm not sure if you've had a look at it yet, V. BioRipple by Nert Levy. Edited by Devil Ovid. Published by Heavy Metal. More about them in a second.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a few years since I've read a book or reviewed a book by Nert. I really do like his stuff. He's one of those people out there, like Gareth, like we talked about earlier, who are doing something very different. He's published a few books through Marcosia, and that's how I got to know him, through Harry. And he sent me out to review, and as review early preview copies, and he sent this out as well. I forwarded this one to you, but this one again is out of Heavy Metal. His previous series was something called Mycelium Seep, which was an absolute trip. And this is more. This is times 10 again. Off we go again. So Ner very kindly sent a copy through. Said, "Oh, I haven't spoke to you for a while. I hope you're doing all right. Here's a copy of my new comic. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know." And I opened it up and looked at it, and me and Dan spoke, and we both thought, "Fuck me, this is something."
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah. And I sent it back to him and said, "Look, mate, I'm going to talk about this on the new podcast, on the next podcast. I'll probably follow it up by sticking some images up on the site as well." And he said, "Well, do you mind if I check with the publicist?" Okay. So he checked with the publicist. Not that it would have stopped me, to be fair. You know what I mean? He sent it to me. It's in, you know. And I got he signed me into the email as well. And I got an email back from her. "Hi there. Yes, the review can go up now." Right. Thank you for that very much. What's your name? Kat Newer. But I don't think you really understood what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I hope you don't get paid by the word. Which I think he actually said, "Look, she's really busy," which I can appreciate. But I think if you're the publicist for a comic and someone is offering to give you free publicity, you actually say, "Is there anything else?" If it was me and I've been in this position for a company, I would say, "Is there anything else I can help you with? Yeah. Do you need publicity dates? Do you need the ISBN number? Is there anything I can send you that you'll need in the review?"
Yeah.
No, just that.
You might have already had a press pack lined up and say,
"Yeah,
let me. I'll send you on the press pack or something."
Yeah. Do you need to know when it's released?
Yeah.
In what formats, how much it's going to be, where people can get a hold of it? No, nothing like that. Just that one line, which rather did. I'll be honest with you, it shouldn't have done, but it rather did irritate me.
Thumbs up emoji.
Yeah. And anyway, but so it's 200 pages. This book, it's full prismatic, fit-inducing, cyberpunk, psychedelic glory. It's beautiful. I put some pages up on the Slack and on Twitter. It's very strange in style. It's a real departure on his last stuff, which was very black and white, to this new stuff. The views in it are often POV. You get inside people's heads, seeing outside, and it's very much done in a widescreen format. It opens with Emily. She's a young and very cool sort of hip character, and she lives in one of those pod things, like in The Fifth Element, those sort of pods that Bruce Willis likes. And she's looking at herself in the mirror, and she's being given instructions from somewhere, possibly inside her head, possibly in an earpiece or in some kind of, communication thing that's going on. And she's directed to go and detain a suspect, and she rushes through the landscape. There's this real energy of the rush through the city, of these like blank staring faces, and there's this real sense of overbearing paranoia in the city. And the city is is really crowded and very sort of sharply lit. It's like an anxiety dream for somebody who lived in Megacity 1. It's got that sort of real intense, overpopulated kind of city to it. It does sit as some kind of detective story, but it inhabits a more of a wider frame of narrative that kind of, how you put it, some dissects people. You find about individuality. It also explores issues of the pervasiveness of technology and the intrusive nature of knowing everything about someone, which I suppose is something, that is sort of increasingly something we do know now, don't we? If we're friends with someone on social media and we didn't know they've just been on holiday, it might be a surprise with some people. We seem to put some people seem to put everything they do on flipping social media, including our thoughts and our beliefs and our and in a way, that extrapolates into our actions being dictated by something else. And this is something that really grabs you in this story. There's an absolute spectacular combination of art and color in this. There's a real strangeness to his style. There's a couple of narrative jumps. You get in, for anyone who's read a Philip K. Dick novel, you get that somebody isn't really who they are. They're inhabited by someone else. They're brainwashed into being something else sometimes. And there's also, go on, mate, sorry.
I said the artwork on this is unreal. You get every single environment and background. It seems like you're looking through a fisheye lens. Yeah. So you get this kind of distortion where everything kind of like goes away from you into this like extreme perspective. And the depth on some of it is just beautiful. Like you say, Tony, it's mind bending. I was saying about that Bokuman who did the manga stuff. And this puts some of it like, not to shame, but like easily it's equal. It's fantastic. It's so well done. The level of craft, and there's a real use of like a limited color palette depending on the scenes. Very clever.
I think that for these days, if someone says I've done a cyberpunk comic, I'm kind of like, all right.
I expect
you've got to do something really special to make it noticeable, I think, these days. There's these sort of strange android dog things in it, which the design's really clever. There's a lot of very hip, cool designs in it. There's a lot of sort of just this side of the faces sometimes are almost like a zombie. Push it another 3 or 4 lines, you could, there's this sort of dead look to a lot of the people in the city. But there's these little dog-like robot things, but they're just made of little boxes, and very simple in design. But I don't know how to put it, but it's kind of like it makes them almost weird through their banality and just this sort of totally practical design of them. And it somehow makes them almost like wrong and makes them almost, you think something's going to go wrong with them. Each chapter ends with the pin-up by another artist. About a third of the way through, things begin to shift. There's a shifting in iconography in it. I'm a big fan of the writers of experimental psychedelia. You've got these people who experimented with LSD and dimethyltryptamine in the early days of MDMA, and these people like Alexander Shulgin and Terence McKenna and all these sort of people. And I really like that. You feel like you've been dosed. I think McKenna called it a heroic dose. You feel like someone spiked you reading this book. It's got that real growth and emergence and strangeness of the environment. There's the sort of finely tuned fractal patterns inserted into a sequential framework. It just really plays with your eye. And I think it's almost is counterintuitive because, like you say, Dan, it's got like a limited palette, but it puts you through such a bright environment into a darkness and back again. And what he does is he plays with this, it's almost like trees and bodies. And it's something he played with a lot in his early work in Mycelium Seep. You had this combination of architecture and growth, organic growth, and he plays with that in a different way in this. You got to read it to see it. The lettering has a strange style. There's almost a shaky, nervous line to the lettering, which I didn't find unpleasant. I actually thought improved on the general mood of the piece. But it is extremely long. It's an extremely long read. This is no manga, man. This is no rushing through 200 pages. No. This will take you a good couple of hours to read. I'm not actually totally sure what it's about, and that I like. I think it doesn't spoon feed you. There's a lot of interpretation and stuff to be taken on it, and a lot of themes that it explores. Individualism and overpopulation environment. And there's a lot of stuff it does explore, and it's actually, I think it's probably the best thing I've read for a long time. I think it's probably the best indie book I've read for about maybe a year. I've got to say, at least. It's really good. If you go to Nirlevie, Nirlevie, nirlevie.com, you can pre-order it. It's released on the 12th, so only like a week or so away. So the sort of period that should really be building up the publicity. It's available on Amazon. There's loads of example of his process at his website. You can also see he's done this sort of 3D video processing for the book, which is just gorgeous. He's also on something called Tapas, which we're talking about free comic platforms. There's that, isn't there? You know,
I've not really done Tapas, if I'm honest. I don't
No, me neither. I think the last time I properly looked at it was when we had John Freeman back in like year 2 of the pod or something. Do you remember?
It was a lot bigger. It felt a lot bigger, probably about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think it sounds about right, man. There's something called the Tale of Super Sim, SYM. There's a link you can find the link on his site. Heavy metal, we just think of as this sort of slightly sexy comics anthology, don't we? But they're actually putting out a lot of interesting stuff. There's the they put out Bob Fingerman's Dotty's Inferno about a year and a half ago. So they're putting out some interesting comics on there. It's worth going to their site just to explore what they've got on there. So the three of us collectively have got a head in comics, haven't we? And I hadn't heard about this. Thankfully, I've got this sort of friendship with Ner, and he sent it to me. But just brilliant. Get on it. I think it's going to be the next big thing in the indie world. I genuinely do. I think
you totally might miss this. Like, otherwise, it's amazing.
Really good. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, so that's my last one.
There you go.
Boom. Ended on a high note. There we go. Brought you down, brought you back up.
You cannot finish stronger than we did tonight. Or today, or whenever you listen to us, and whenever and wherever you listen to us, thank you very much for doing so. Yes. We truly appreciate it every week, and we'll keep sort of churning out this every week and entertain you. But of course, if there's anything upcoming this year, as things are the wheels are starting to turn, and a lot more events, be it events, charity stuff, or if you've got upcoming comics you want us to talk about, there's several different ways you can get in touch with us. You can email us awesomecomicspod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter @theawesomepod. We'll probably be retweeting, putting some shout outs about the shows. Who knows? Sometimes we'll be posting funny things that Jesus has said. He was a fan of the show.
Big fan.
Big fan.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/awesomecomicspodcast. Join the community group on Facebook, Awesome Comics Talk. Great bunch of people on there, as well as a fantastic group of people that are on the Awesome Comics Podcast Slack chat. Is it a channel? What do they call it? It's a Slack group, isn't it? That has
group, and then there's various channels on there. Yeah,
there's various channels for all different kinds of things. Please join. There's lots of people from all over the world talking about comics, and it's just our community is a wonderful community, and we absolutely love you all. So thank you very much for supporting the group, and continue to support indie comics. Thank you for listening to us, whether it's on the website awesomecomics.podbean.com. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, subscribe and leave a review, and just get the word out about the show, because that way we know that our grumpy old men rants are being heard. And whether you heard us on other networks such as Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, Podnose, Podknife, what other networks are we on, Tony?
We're on Pod. Has she been offered G.I. Jane 2?
Oh, God. No. No. Dramatically bored.
Keep her name out your effing mouth.
I'm just thinking of the shallowness of Hollywood. Someone's probably made a call, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, we waited almost 2 hours to get that clickbait bit of audio into this show. But don't worry, folks. We're not. That won't be a regular thing. But thank you very much for listening, as always. Where can people find us online, etc.? Tony.
Neveronanything.com. There
you go. Dan.
You can read Vanguard at vanguardcomic.com, and you can catch up with behind the scenes work at the Vanguard Patreon, which I try and update as often as possible.
It's very good. Very good value.
Cheers.
Yeah, great sketches and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
There's gonna say on the upcoming Vanguard stuff, some shit's gonna go down.
Oh,
I know. Yeah, you've been talking about that. I'm a bit worried.
There's a character that I've had in it that
Kill your darlings.
is it's quite a big plot point.
He doesn't care about any of his characters.
No one's. I do.
No one
I do
is
care.
safe.
No,
one's safe.
no. No, he's heartless. He murders them. And not
Well,
only
if they, I've
not
got to
only
make care of them
he
before
doesn't
they
just
die.
kill them. He doesn't just kill them, Tony.
He makes you love them.
He makes you love them or think they're really cool, and then he murders them in a horrible, horrible fucking way.
I hope he's not like that with his friends.
It's
horrible.
like
Go on.
every character is Glenn from The Walking Dead, just getting smashed over the head. Spoilers. Getting
Smashed.
smashed over the head. You know, Dan, you're a murderer. And
I've not read the comic up to that point, but the TV series when they killed Glenn, I found that really unpalatable. I was like, "Oh, mate, this is too much for me. This is coming from me."
Yeah, and then he made
That's too
notes and
much.
probably did it in one of his comics. So definitely check out Vanguard. All jokes aside, it's fucking brilliant.
Oh, cheers, dude. Very good.
And you can find me on social media at Jester Diablo if you want to see some amazing cats.
Yes.
So have a brilliant week, no matter where you are. We hope you're happy, healthy, and doing okay. There's a lot of it's flu season, it's cold season, and it's still COVID season because it still exists. I know because I got it.
You're all better now. You're not poorly now.
I'm totally better, which is why I'm a little bit livelier. I still probably sound like I'm underwater, but
No,
not
you
as
sound
bad.
all right, babes. Yeah, you sound all right.
Thanks, Han.
Sorry, babes.
So catch us next week where we'll be talking about we've got some fun topics that we're gonna focus on, some genres and topics and different things like that, aren't we, over the next couple of weeks, just to get us back in the swing of things. But until then, have a brilliant week, read loads of comics, keep making loads of fantastic comics wherever you are in the world. We love you very much, don't we, Dan?
Hell yeah.
Don't we, Tony?
No.
He does. He loves you more than me and Dan. That's how much he's just afraid of
I don't love them more than you two. I love you two very much.
He's
Impossible.
Well, obviously, I love you with the power of 1,000 suns, Tony. I just don't tell anyone about it. Oh no, I've said it out loud.
We're gonna get married.
Yeah, and we'll record it live for the show because
All three of us going to get married. I'm going to get ordained and marry us all.
Yep, and we're going to do that for episode 500. So save the date.
Yep. Keep listening.
So from Dan, Tony, and myself, have a brilliant week. We'll send you our shopping list for the wedding, and as always, what do they call those lists that you
I don't know.
the gift registration thing?
Oh yeah, the kind of the wedding list.
Yeah, lovely.
I always get dildos.
I think
Well, you won't ask them or you won't buy them.
The thing is, Dan, Tony's in a completely different conversation right now. I think.
I was just going through my wish list.
Yeah.
On Amazon.
What ice cream would you like, sir? Dildos.
I always get dildos.
Do you want a flake with that? Anyway, have a brilliant week, and as always, what should they do, guys?
Stay awesome.
Brilliant. Sit.
Excellent.
Well-oiled machine.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye.